Hey guys, Kev here, and I want to do a video talking about the best knife releases so far this quarter of 2022. So basically, we are into April now. The first quarter of the year is over. What are the best knives that were released this year so far? I'm going to do one overall knife, and then I'm going to do one budget knife, so to speak, right? I'm not going to count the stout, obviously. It hasn't released yet. The pre-order is happening for me in a couple days, but I just wanted to have a placeholder here while I introed the video. Hopefully, this will be on some people's list later this year. But anyway, I'm going to start off with a budgety knife. So for me, the best knife so far of 2022 in the budget category is the Civivi Conspirator. And I think you could interchange this with the Altus. I think that came out this year. I love the Altus. I think it just size-wise didn't work for me personally. So that's where the Conspirator comes in. It's more of a my-size knife with a 3.5-inch blade, right? About 8 inches overall. The Altus was a bit smaller, about a 3-inch blade. I don't know how much overall, maybe 7 inches. But both great knives, both have the new-ish Civivi button lock mechanism, which actually has a deployment method this time. Just kidding. But I really, really like this knife. I think it is a contender already for budget knife of the year for 2022. It's very fidgety. You have a reverse flick. You have a flipper tab. You have a very good thumb flick, I think, off of that slot because of the way that it the detent kind of pops a little bit. It allows you to do the thumb flick, I think, relatively easy without much of having to put wrist into it. Like usually with a button lock and a thumb kind of thing that's not a stud, you're going to end up doing a lot of this like whipping. Even slots with detents, honestly, it's hard. Like I'm carrying my nimble today. It's hard to kind of flick the nimble with the thumb. And there, I got it both times, but it can be difficult. So, a lot of times you end up going like this and kind of just whipping it a little bit to get it out. The stout, on the other hand, actually, the way we designed the hole, it kind of catches your thumb right here. So you can get a nice, crisp thumb flick. But I'm sure some people will struggle with that as well. So anyway, I like that it has a pretty good thumb flick, great reverse flick, and then great flipper tab. Detent isn't like the strongest, but the knife is extremely smooth. So it really helps with that where you just have to give it a little bit of gas and that flipper tab goes. And if you give it anything, it will fly out. It's really nice. You can obviously button deploy the knife as well. You can do the button lock dance. So I just think this is a fantastic knife for the price point. I think it starts around $70, goes up to about 100 with the stupid Damascus blade if they did that version this time. I really, really like this Gaborsha wood. I've found out it's a South African type of rosewood. I really do like it. I think it's a fantastic handle material. Feels great in hand. And you know what? It's just different. It's something different in my collection, having some wood in there. You know me, I like the wood. So I just think it's great. They also did a very heavy stone wash, maybe an acid wash. Instead of doing the normal bead blast they always do like this. Instead of doing that, they did a heavy stone wash / acid wash. It's hard to tell the difference on camera, but you can tell in person, and you'll be able to tell when it comes to rusting and stuff. I think this is going to hold up better. Plus, this is Nitro V. Well, that was too, actually. But I've seen that knife rust, even with a good corrosion-resistant steel like Nitro V, because of that bead blast. But with this, it's going to withstand it a little bit better. The ergos are flipping-tastic, just big enough for your hand. The Cogent was about the same size, I think, but the way they did that sort of like tactical thing up around here, it just felt smaller in your hand. This fits my hand really well. I can even spread out a little bit, and you kind of have a flipper choil going on here that for me is comfortable and safe. To each their own. You can slide up onto this jimping that is actually usable. I like the blade shape. I cannot wait for them to come out with the sheep's foot type version of this. I don't know the size on that, so it could be different, but it looks like this with a sheep's foot blade, Warney blade. I cannot wait for that. But even this blade shape is pretty useful. I do wish I had a lower tip. On a knife this size, I'd like to have a lower tip because then I can get to the packages quicker. Again, sorry, I'm going to pull out the stout, where when it's this size knife, like this is actually a little bit smaller than the Conspirator. It's 3.3, that's 3.5. But even though it has a little bit of a longer blade, you can easily get to that tip and control it, right? I'm okay with a drop point, spear point like this, but I want it on a smaller blade like this. This is the Aloni Knives Goat version 2. This is about a 3-inch blade, maybe a little bit under. And because of the size, I can get easy to that tip and use it, right? Even on a drop point, straight back, kind of like this. Where on this, it's such a long knife for me that I have to bend all the way up here to get to that tip, right? Another good example is the Nimble. Right around a 3-inch blade, you can get down and use that tip relatively easily because it's a smaller knife. Whereas on this, to do that, I have to climb all the way up and bend to like here to get to the tip just because of the length of the knife. I hope that makes some sense. By the way, I put on a Mokutai clip on here. I found out today Mokutai is basically the same thing as Timascus. Just whoever calls it whatever they want. I don't know if it's a different way of doing it, but it's basically the same thing, which is pretty cool. So anyway, I really like the Conspirator. I think it's your go-to button lock budget knife right now. I have not been impressed with many of them. I've tried a lot. I've tried the Cormorant. I've tried the original from Mojave Outdoors. I've tried the Beglighter XL. I've tried the EDC TAC. That's not really budget, but I've tried the Altus, the Cogent. I mean, I'm sure I'm missing more. There's so many, right? And all of these are basically trying to live off of the hype of the Malibu here, right? And not really anybody's coming close. Now, I'd say Civivi's the closest at this point with their mechanism. What they need to do is increase that detent strength just a little bit, and I think it's going to be perfect. Where the Malibu has just a perfect detent. I mean, you break and it flies. On this, you break and you can easily fail it. Downside on the Malibu is the button. A lot of people love this knife, but that button stick can piss me off. But this is what they're all trying to live up to, and I think the Civivis are getting the closest to it. And honestly, in some ways, surpassing it because they're giving you the deployment option of a reverse flick, which for me is better. A reversible clip, which to me is better. So, you know, that's the budget knife of the first quarter of 2022. I'm going to try to do this every quarter because I think that's a cool way to do it. And then maybe at the end of the year, I can kind of take all the ones that won. The only thing is I sell knives a lot, so we'll see what happens. Maybe I'll get them in on loan or whatever. But maybe if it's sold, that means it's not in the running anymore for knife of the year, right? So budget knife of the first quarter 2022, Civivi Conspirator. Now, the premium or overall knife of the first quarter of 2022, hands flipping down, sharp by design, mini Tempest. And today, I have a second one here. So I actually do own two, but one of them is loaned out right now to my brother D2M Knives and Gear. This one comes in by way of Josh. He is one of the moderators for the channel. Just an absolutely fantastic human being. Love Josh. He lives in Australia, and I proxy for him a lot. And he got this knife from Blade HQ, I suppose. And he had it sent to me so I could send it to him. And, man, he got an excellent, excellent example. I mean, look at that action. This is fresh out of the box. Look at this. That is money. And the detent on point. So he got a great one here, guys. I'm really happy for him. And the coating is nice on there. This is your PVD coating, I believe. There's no play, no rock. It's got that clip point blade. And it's cool to have these both here because I can show you both blade shapes. That's his. This is mine. This is the drop point with the blue dark matter fat carbon. You'll see it listed as blue marble sometimes, but that's just That's what it was supposed to be, I believe. This is what it's actually, dark matter blue from Fat Carbon. And I absolutely love this knife. It's probably going to end up being knife of the year. I mean, we'll see. But I just overall love the design. It's so sexy to me. I know that some people are going to say it's a little simple, but man, does it have the greatest lines ever. The action's incredible. It has his patented detent nub system. I should say, I don't think it's patented, but I just used the word, meaning it's, his. He designed it. And yeah, he's a great dude. I've actually chatted with him a bit on Instagram, and Brian seems like a great dude. He is sarcastic, and I think people take that as him being a dick or something, but he's not. He's a nice dude. He's just, he's funny, to me anyway. But I love the design. I love the hand satin on this one right here. Fantastic drop point. This is my favorite blade shape on the mini Tempest. These inlays are seamless. You guys can see my review. Everything is chamfered perfectly. The only sharp thing other than the blade is the end of the clip, but it doesn't really get you anywhere, so it's not a big deal. It's kind of a clamshell construction. Almost looks integral. That's how well done it is. The action is phenomenal. Detent is phenomenal. Just a masterpiece in my opinion. Then here's that Bowie clip point blade with a little bit of poon on it. I love me some poon. And I actually think that this carbon fiber works really well with this black version. It almost has a little bit of a twill feel to it because of that. And man, that action is just butter on this one. I mean, I flipped it like 10 times, guys. Out of the box 10 times. It's almost like Blade HQ is using this one for video or something, because it's just too good to be fresh out of the box. And it does look like maybe the blade was used a little bit. I don't know what that is. Kind of seems like there's some kind of a difference between the blade there. Oh, maybe I got it. No, I got it. I don't know what that was. All right, we're good. Just a little bit of oil maybe. But yeah, this is just hands down my favorite knife so far this year. And it's not even close, guys. It really isn't close. I can't even think of anything else that came out this year that's in this vicinity of how good it is. So I could be missing a bunch of stuff, but anyway, the mini Tempest from Sharp by Design, #1 knife of the first quarter of 2022 for me. Everybody's gonna have their own knife of the quarter, knife of the year, essentially, at this point. And then we also had the budget knife, the Civivi Conspirator. So there are your, I guess, winners. I don't know what you'd call it. This is dumb, but there you go. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Should I keep doing this every quarter? Is it helpful in any way? I know you probably can't get these, but if you look on the secondary, I bet you can. These, I'm not sure. They might be available on Amazon or something. I'm sure they'll be back in mass, so should be fine. But yeah, that's it, guys. I love you all. I hope you have an absolutely fantastic day, and I will catch you later.